Welcome to you, Leo. This is your tarot reading for the month of June. Everybody's reading's been quite profound, and I can see yours is no exception to that at all. Now, I'm a Leo, and you'll have to forgive me if I interpret this through my own experience, but I really hope that you get something useful from it. Leo, look at that middle card. The Knight of Pentacles. Things are moving a little bit slowly for you. You've got a dogged determination, you're sticking to what you're doing, but things simply aren't happening as quickly as you'd like. Is it to do with material things? I don't think it is. Bottom right hand corner does suggest it's about material things. This is the recent past. This is new money. Now, to a certain degree, I'm still waiting on that. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe I've seen the signs, but they're shoots rather than, big things. Right now, you are getting some small victories, and I suppose that's what I'm saying. Small victories in terms of your life. And in the future, you going out seeking something, seeking more inspiration. Now, you've been doing that for a long time, but I think it's a reaction to things moving slowly. Of course, we're constantly seeking answers, and maybe that's all we should read into it. You're certainly learning things. You're learning what you believe are skills that will be useful to you in the future. And those skills will lead to the outcome, and the outcome's a good outcome. That's long-term wealth. I'm not certain that it is solely about monetary wealth, but it could be. And I think there's a little bit of a warning here from the universe. Go back one. We have the Four of Swords, and that is saying, I know you want to rest, I know you're finding it tough, but don't give up. Keep going. I think that's what all this is telling us, but please stick around because we need to unpack this far further, don't we, Leo? And as I say, the first card is the Knight of Pentacles, and the energy of this runs throughout the entire reading, and therefore June. And it's a card of a dogged determination, and you want to get things done. You've got a goal, and you're going to get there. You're determined to get there. And of course, that's so characteristic of Leos. So this is something that goes throughout, but it's also very slow moving. And I think things aren't happening as quickly as you'd anticipated, as quickly as you'd like. And that seems to have characterised me for over 10 years now. But I do believe change is happening, not just global change, but personal change for you. And I believe you will reach your goals, but you need to continue with this determination. In your past, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Now, normally the Knight of Pentacles, I'd say, is about material wealth. And certainly this card is about material wealth. It's normally about the recent past, and I haven't had material wealth in the recent past. Although there have been some indications that more wealth is on the way, and maybe that's all we should read into it. Or maybe we should go back many years. Normally you shouldn't see it this way, but maybe that's what I go back to, because I certainly was wealthy in the past. And I think, to a certain degree, I've turned my back on that, and I'm focusing more on knowledge and happiness. And maybe that's what we read into it. But, we're all different, Leo. Maybe yours is you should interpret it as the former rather than what I've just said. One indication that this wealth in the past is recent and it's just small signs of it, is currently you're scoring some victories. So currently things are, you're seeing light at the end of the tunnel, as it were. No one's saying it won't be a struggle, because you can see he's wading across the water, the river. He is getting across it. But like us all, you're struggling somewhat, struggling in these difficult circumstances that we all find ourselves in. But you are seeing rays of hope. You are feeling that there are better days ahead. I'm not saying that things will go back to normal, certainly not. But I think you are seeing some sort of light at the end of the tunnel here. In the future, we have the Page of Wands. That's you going out and seeking things. I think you're seeking inspiration, and intuitive inspiration will come to you. And I think that's really the thing, going back to things moving slowly. It's that's happening slowly. Now, I'm constantly seeking inspiration. I'm constantly getting intuitive messages. And I think that's a lifelong quest, not something that just happens at one time. But I'm constantly getting new intuitive messages. I wouldn't be able to do these readings if I didn't. But I think you're a little bit frustrated. It's not happening as quickly as you'd like. But I see this as a great reassurance from the universe that you're doing the right things. Now, the energy impacting on the outcome is the Seven of Pentacles. I call it the apprenticeship card. It's learning skills that are going to stand you in good stead for the future. Normally it's monetary, but I think in my case it's not monetary. But you're learning things, and it's a little bit laborious. I mean, it is like an apprenticeship. You have to keep repeating things. You have to keep doing it, and perfecting it. And if you remember the slow-moving night at the beginning, you're probably frustrated that you're not getting there as quickly as you'd like. But overall, I would say this is all about sticking with it. I think that's the message from the universe. Stick with this learning that you're engaged in. The card that changes the outcome is the Four of Swords. Taking a rest, tired. Now, as I say, I think you're finding this learning a bit laborious. I think you're somewhat frustrated that it's not producing the results as quickly as you expected. And undoubtedly you're tired. You're even thinking of packing it in. That's what I read into this. But I'm pretty certain this is a warning from the universe saying, don't do that. You're on the right lines. Don't give up. That's how I see it. What is the outcome? Well, it's the Seven of Pentacles, which is investing for the future, long-term investments. And it normally is money, and I think it might be about money here, even though maybe you're not explicitly trying to create wealth. If you look at it, he's planting coins, so they will grow, but they will grow slowly. So coming back to that slow-moving night. And I always say when I see this card that I have teak trees in my garden in Java, and they're worth a fortune, but they take forever to grow. And it's that type of an energy. So overall, I think there's huge encouragement here from the universe saying that in the long term, it's all going to work out all right, but just to keep going, to show perseverance. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to get a little bit of clarity on some of this. Going to seek clarity on this Seven of Pentacles, the apprenticeship card as I call it. And my goodness, it really is suggesting that it's not so much about material things, and I can only see this very personally, but the cards come out as the Hierophant, formal religion or conservative ways at looking things. Secondly, the Magician card, that's manifesting. And thirdly, the King of Swords, knowledge, command of knowledge, gaining knowledge. Okay, let's look at each individually. Now, as I say, the first card of clarity is the Hierophant card. So this suggests that what you were learning was you were learning about religion. It could be a conservative sort of value system, tried and tested values that you were learning, but it could easily be religion. And in my case, of course, it's Islam. But you don't have to have a religion, and it certainly doesn't have to be Islam. It's just sort of tried and tested ways of seeing things. And of course, I have been exploring Islam for answers. And to a certain degree, my exploration has made me somewhat cynical about what I do see as a minority of Muslims and their beliefs. But they're a very vocal minority. So the more I delve into it, the more I realise that religion, and I'm talking about probably all religions here, and that is formal religions, seem designed to take us further away from God. And I think that's quite a profound realisation. I'm not saying you will have a similar one, but you're being encouraged to stick with it, to stick with this understanding that you have. The next card is the Magician card. So of course my channel is called The Magic of Java, and some people might see me as being a magician. I don't see myself in that way at all. I became interested in magic because my family were under attack from magic, and so therefore I wanted to find out what was happening, partially to protect my family, and from that knowledge I'm able to do so. But traditionally this is seen about manifesting, and I think you are learning how you can manifest. Now, I don't necessarily see this in the New Age sense of the law of attraction, although, a law of attraction of kind is at work in the universe. No, it's more about the realisation of how by changing yourself you can change the universe. And you're still learning. In fact, I'll say what I was about to say with the next card because it's even more pertinent. Now, I hope I've not lost you, but we now have the King of Swords, King of Knowledge. So what have I been seeking? I keep saying it's not wealth. No, I've been seeking knowledge. I've been seeking knowledge so that I can become closer to God. And some of you may recall the May reading where I said you are offered fame and fortune and you turn your back on it for a greater prize, and that greater prize is to become closer to God. But I also said as a result of that you would have some material benefits from it, and maybe it's those things that are happening a little bit slowly. But, the real goal that you have is learning about things to enable this knowledge of what you're about. Now, if you don't even believe in God, it doesn't matter, because it's a knowledge about who we are and where we're going, the nature of mankind, the nature of the universe. I mean, to me, it definitely is about becoming closer to God. And, it's a slow path, and it takes forever, probably more than a lifetime. So therefore, we're being urged to be patient here. but you will gain this knowledge, or you'll gain some of it at least. So Leo, we can summarise for you. There are some indications that this reading's about wealth, and there's some other indications that it isn't, that it's about knowledge. I interpret that knowledge as a desire to become closer to God, but if you want to see this solely about wealth, that's fine. Things are moving rather slowly for you, but like all Leos, you've got a dogged determination. In the past, there was some wealth, and I think you are getting small victories in terms of what you're trying to achieve. But it is going very slowly. You expected more to happen quicker. And you continue to search out for inspiration, and inspiration does come. And you're realising that the path you're on is at least one lifetime, if not more. And therefore you have to learn patience. But you are learning. You're learning things. You're learning about maybe religion, or certainly tried and tested ways of doing things, including manifesting the way that your thoughts shape the world. And there's a reassurance here which backs on from May's reading, where you turned your back on fame and fortune. Now you might say, well, I don't remember being offered fame and fortune, but simply even turning your back on it in your mind would be enough for this to be true. So I think you turned your back somewhat on fame and fortune, and there was a promise of something even greater. And this reading is saying it is coming, but it's long term and you must be patient. However, you're tired, you're frustrated, but there's a warning from the universe not to give up. No, it's saying keep going, you're doing the right things, but you need patience.